Crypto fans, how are we? Thanks for stopping by. This is CryPTOMAXX news, and what a day, because tell you what, the Hinman Deposition has been posted with redactions and removals, and it's enough to drive you crazy, but there is so much here, and you'll have to forgive me because I actually wrote handwritten notes on all this here. So anyway, real quick, Bitcoin's doing, it's bouncing back up. Ethereum's fine. Cardano, right, hanging in there. Most everything kind of bounced back up from some of its low points on Tuesday. So not bad. I think we're going to be trending back up Wednesday. I'm into the wee hours of Tuesday evening, which is really Wednesday morning. But again, I'm CryPTOMAXX. None of this is financial advice. And we're going to get into the Hinman testimony deposition because it's a piece of work. So anyway, of what we get to go over, and there is a ton. I'll try to be as brief as I can, but I'm telling you, it's fascinating. So let's see what happens. If you can, like, subscribe, and support the new channel, I sure appreciate it. I promise I'll always bring something interesting like this right here, because I was waiting for this and couldn't wait to come out. So this thing came out tonight, and wow. First off, we're going to start with this. This is Mr. Hinman back in 2018 and his speech, right? So here we go.
And so we kind of tried to get that out there. We also, last summer, spoke a little bit more about how we were looking at some of the more decentralized and seasoned digital assets like Bitcoin and Ether on the Ethereum network. And we made it very clear that at this point we don't see a reason to regulate those as securities or transactions in those instruments as securities at this point. I know we're going to get into more detail on this, but that was another part of our exercise in terms of making it clear to the market how we look at the.
There we go. All right. So sorry for the quality there. It's coming off of Twitter, and but I want to tell you you heard him. Right, and I had posted at one time the amount of times in that speech that he said we. There was one page, he must have said we, speaking for we as in the SEC we. He must have said it like 6 times just on one page of the speech. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're not fooling anybody. You are absolutely, speaking for the SEC. So... And now we start to get into it. And so let's see. Let me go here. Right there. We'll do that. All right. So this is just kind of a brief introduction. You're going to notice, right? Look at the way the pages skip. There's so much. And they start redacting everywhere. And again, if you saw my TikTok, basically, the government's version of protecting you is not allowing you to see anything that they do, right? And so that's, they're so concerned about our security on buying securities or digital assets that they don't want you to know anything that they did to determine how to get there. So it's just absurd. This case is so laughable when you dig into it. It's amazing. And I hope that they get damages on the XRP side, all the people holding XRP that were involved in the litigation there on the suit. It's so embarrassing how bad this case is. All right, so they start talking about now consensus, right, is John Lubin, all right? Founder of Consensus, co-founder of Ethereum, and then they start running into this, well, we think it was a foundation, and I love this one. They didn't have any control or lead over Ethereum. Love that. Nope. They were just there. They didn't do anything. They weren't, no. And then Consensus had nothing to do with it either, other than they were the software foundation or platform piece of it. It's just crazy how they've laid this out. But what they wanted to do almost is try to describe Ethereum Foundation as, they were just at this, they were kind of around the speech, but they didn't have anything to do with it, right? Not buying it. And it's so bad. And then we go on for pages of redactions to the point where they start skipping, it's crazy. So anyway, there's so much good stuff here. I want to go, actually, I'm going to skip on to page 63, because this is a little bit more of the setup. And actually, you know what? This right here. When was that? They basically are asking how familiar he was in relating to digital assets and how he tests. And he said probably in mid to late 2016. And did you, in anticipation of becoming director of the Division of Corporate Finance? No. Then you're waiting. You're like, okay, good answer. You got some good answers here. No, nothing. It's so bad. And then you're just, honestly, you're waiting for a answer somewhere. They blank it all out. They start removing pages, and you get to see glimpses, but even in here, there's some fascinating things that are just, it's unbelievable the way they went about this. But right here, before I break, whether you were aware, say the first 6 months after you became the divisional director, about various work product that had been created. Were you aware of any work product that had been created within the Division of Corporate Finance as to whether XRP transactions and XRP were securities or investment contracts under the federal, and then boom. And this is where I really wanted that answer, right? That was page 63, yeah. So badly wanted to get that answer. Well, they removed it all. So, and we jump from page 63 to 95. And you're just like, I want to lose my mind here. What's going on? Why can't we see some of this? Right? And every time he's asked, I don't recall, right? If it's something I don't recall. There's so many things through here. It's unbelievable. I was boiling while I was reading it. So, all right. Page 99, 98. Okay. Understand how smart these guys are, right? There is nothing that this guy's being asked that he doesn't already know how he wants to answer, because they're so prepped. But you give them credit. As dishonest as they are in their methods in leading all the way through everything they did when he was, even before and during and after. It's so ridiculous. The millions of dollars he got paid by, oh goodness, it is Simpson and Thatcher, while he was with the SEC. Getting paid millions. There is nothing about, it's just enough to drive me crazy, right? And how they allow that, and I know that there's a lot of rumblings about the things that went on, and how there should be an investigation into the way that these things happened. So anyway, it's really frustrating to see how some of these things went down, and they're making millions of dollars while being, associated with a law firm while you're working at the SEC that's benefiting from your decision making. It is so dirty. Those things just can't happen. But they did. And then they come after XRP or Ripple and try. It's just ridiculous. I just wanted to point out this. So we kind of had those discussions with XRP specifically, if they were going to register and what things would be and be relevant, right? Move to strike about XRP, because I asked you for your recollection of meetings that didn't involve XRP, right? So he answers and he says, I'm sorry, I missed that. No, you didn't. You did not miss that. You knew all along. So anyway, these guys are just, at least, as much as we don't like them, give them credit for being smart, because they are, and they know exactly what they're doing. And even his answer right there is intentional. So it's almost like, throwing that undercover, curveball just to throw a shot across the bow, right? So funny. I don't know why I found that particular one funny, but it shows you how, how calculating they are, right? All right. So there is a lot of, I believe a lot of the redactions or the removal of pages had to do with the companies that he was dealing with, right? Either clients he had or businesses that he had, some sort of conversations with, third parties. And you saw that on TikTok, if that's how you found this a little bit. But they are trying to protect the companies that he had third-party dealings with, or clients that had discussions around how to approach the digital asset conversation or the securities conversation. And then it goes into tokenizing. There's a piece where they talk about, if you call it token, you might be able to wiggle your way around, or at least there was a perception out there that's the way this was, which is crazy again. How he was aware of all these conversations, and he was having, those conversations behind closed doors with his third parties, whether they be clients or business associates, getting paid millions by Simpson and Thatcher while he was working for the SEC. You tell me any of that sounds right? Any of it? None of it. It's just enough to make you lose your mind. All right. So, 118. Yeah. I've written down so many notes. Okay. So we're on page 119, and I want you to notice a certain Andreessen Horowitz. Guess who Mr. Hinman works for right now? Andreessen Horowitz. If you were writing a novel, right, you would probably write it like this. Oh, let's make this really juicy. Let's make this about as juicy as he went into the back room, he talked about this, and he gave a speech, and then they tried to work around it, and how are they going to cover up for it, and what? Then after everything is said and done, he goes to work for Andreessen Horowitz, who, and this is the greatest part, I did a TikTok on this. Guess who's invested into Ripple? It's so funny. Because again, now you could do. I saw somebody post on. I forget. I'm going off on the rabbit trail a little bit, but I saw somebody say, Ryan. Oh goodness, you'll know the guy who played Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. Somebody said he should play Brad Garlinghouse, and they should do a whole movie on this. They could. telling you what, as soon as this whole freaking soap opera is done, it could be a comedy drama, is what it could be, because the way they've gone about it is a joke. And but yeah, it's caused a lot of people a lot of pain. It's suppressed the price for XRP, and this has been horrible. I've been, blown away by how bad. Every time you see how bad this case is handled, you just continue to get more and more frustrated. So, guess what? Where is it? Please tell me I find it here. Mr. Lubin. There it is. John Lubin. Consensus. So they set up a meeting in December, and the meeting was, did you direct Mrs. Starr to contact Mr. Lubin to set up a meeting with the Division of Corporate Finance? Interesting. You mean the co-founder of Ethereum? Then all more gone. Want to see more? Why is that redacted? Oh, goodness. Enough to make you lose your mind again. All right, 163. Yep, here it is. Okay. So December 13th, meeting with consensus. Specific issues involving blockchain tokens and security regulations they wanted to address. Oh, really? You sure had a lot of recollection about a lot of XRP stuff, but you can't remember anything about a meeting that you were at, you attended, and that happened to be with consensus and Ethereum. Ridiculous. This is why people are talking about how these guys need to come under investigation. There needs to be an investigation, and I don't know. And remember, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't care who you are. You can look at this and go, wait, that doesn't sound right. Just be a fair-minded person and think about this. Doesn't sound right. Okay. So let me skip on to one set. Oh, well. That's why I made my notes on to go on to 170. There's 163. Oh, wait. Next pages are gone all the way to 170. This is what I was dealing with, right? Okay. So in 2017, they had that meeting, right? And the tokenization thing, right? That whole conversation around whether or not it was being called a token or a security is something really interesting. Like, people had an understanding if you just called it something, it would be something. And then it gets better. There's a lot more. But basically on this page, he talks about, do you recall reading the document before the meeting? Oh, and this one, where is he? This is it. This is where he's surprised. I got to go back. He said, you attended a meeting on that date with representatives of consensus, correct? Oh, did he? So there's a little bit of funny emphasis put on consensus meeting, right? I don't recall that. All right. I'm going to show you a document, right? So he goes on, and we don't get to see some of the exhibits, right? Some of the others, but good stuff. Let me flip the page here real quick and try to do it fast. Corporate finance. This is all the stuff on the corporate finance. I mean, there's so much here. I'm gonna try to flip through some of it because what page is this? Because I just found it so interesting the way they worded it. I'm gonna skip on to 175. All right. Here you go. Do you remember anyone stating in substance at the meeting that you remember that entrepreneurs and investors had a lack of an appreciation for regulatory risk? Okay. So you would think that all of this would have been kind of, very much up in the air in Ethereum's mind, right? It should be, or investors should have. No. How about more generally? Do you remember hearing from third parties that entrepreneurs and investors lack an appreciation of the regulatory risk of transactions in digital assets? I didn't hear something specifically lacking appreciation of regulatory risk. Oh, that's funny. So there's all sorts of questions out there. You know about them. Everybody else knows about them. Doesn't come up in the meeting. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. All right, so there is another. Oh, and so what page is that? 219. All right, let me fly through this. 219. As of April 26, 2018, had the SEC, and then he said withdrawn. And is this the part where the judge? Yeah, no, it's coming up later. As of April 26, 2018, had the Division of Corporate Finance issued a, oh, I know why he withdrew that. He had to restate it, right? Specifically to what he had been overseeing. So as of April 26, 2018, the Division of Corporate Finance issue a regulation about the circumstances under which the digital asset transaction would be an investment contract or a security. No. There you go. These people. There is no way they can win this case. How? It's so laughable. I'm going to try to end this so it doesn't go on forever. But it is so laughable the amount of times. Take a look at this one. I'll bounce. Oh, the judge kind of actually, it was really interesting. Page 259. Let me get there. The judge kind of warns the Ripple side. And she says, this was awesome. Judge Netborn has ruled fair notice defense. The focus is not on what the market participants believed. It's an objective test. You're skating dangerously close in, oh, I see how that came by. All right, so that was my misunderstanding there. That was Mr. Tenero trying to, this is the SEC's attorney, and he's trying to flip that. I'm sorry, I thought that was the judge interjecting which wouldn't have made sense anyway, right? Okay, so on to page 260. And you might see this on Twitter because it's fascinating, right? And I'm trying to find it because it is so it's perfect in the way that it's stated. But basically what they say, all right, 10 different, there it is. All right. You can call 10 different law firms all the way down to 10 different colors of legal advice. Now, this was added by the SEC in a document, right? And so all this time, and he keeps on winding around, and I don't know who did it, and it got deleted. So things got deleted. Mr. Seaman deleted that. So it ends up getting removed from the document, right? And you're like, okay, well, that's rather convenient that it got removed from a document and you guys said 10 different, it appears as if there's 10 different answers on the same issue of this digital asset security issue. Again, all pointing to unclear, fair notice, everything about this case, which is a garbage case, right? All right. Well, you know what? Let me see if there's anything else here that was, critical that I don't. Oh, yes, right here, 261. All right. Do you know whether there was a video recording made of your remarks at the Tech GC National Summit on November 26th? I don't know. I hope so. Because wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be a blast? The things that have gone on here, and then the pages of removal, right? As you go through and you see the documents that are removed here, it's just, it's unfortunate. And I just want to make one more note. I'm looking down at my notes. Okay, 2018. Let's see, all right. Let me go to 330. Oh, there's some more some more blacked out documents. All right. So in 2018, they still hadn't had anything at the SEC that was covered, right? Am I correct that digital assets were not covered by security clearance form until 2018? So basically what this speaks to is that if you worked at the SEC, you weren't allowed to work in a department that had something to do with, like, let's say if you bought a stock and you were working on a case against a company that issued that stock. So you weren't allowed to hold an asset that had something to do with the case or around the case that you were working. So they go back to start talking about, did you hold Bitcoin? Right? Well, they never even established a digital asset fundamental policy in the SEC around conflict of interest in holding assets of a case that you're working on until 2018. And they're suing them all the way back to 2013. Pure insanity. And if you look and you lay this case out and you go, how did you guys ever think to bring this? But again, SEC is protecting you. They've got your back, XRP holders. They're out to really save you from yourselves and any profits that you might make from it. Again, not financial advice. XRP is going to the moon. Like, subscribe, follow. I'll see you tomorrow. I could have done like 3 parts, 4 parts on this. We'll see you.